Okay, well, we're going to jump in. So welcome everyone today. This is the Affiliated Podcast, and we are doing our first interview with one of the greatest people doing Facebook advertising today, Robby Blanchard. So, and hopefully I said that right because I practiced and
Dude,
I
nailed it.
Yes. I'd be a great substitute teacher.
Awesome.
As long as I don't have to teach, but.
That's right.
So what we're going to be doing today is just give you a little highlight. Robby has Commission Hero. It's an amazing Facebook courses teaching thousands of people to be successful and change their life in whatever way they seem fit by learning how to buy ads on Facebook correctly and successfully. In fact, and I didn't tell you this beforehand, Nick Pounder, one of your students, we worked together, and he recently in the last just a couple of months hit platinum status with his very first offer. So started out learning how to do ads with you, and then went and created his own offer and is really changing his life. It's pretty amazing stuff. So Robby's been doing that. We're going to talk a little about that journey today. And then he does something unique in his business that I find so powerful, definitely next level. And for any of those people out there that really want to learn new ways to monetize, I think it'll be a fun conversation. So we're just going to ask some questions today and see where it goes. And
let's do it.
And if it's not valuable, it's all Robby's fault. I'll just blame him solely.
Full blame for it all. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So first, as we kind of talked about, you haven't always just been buying ads on Facebook. So walk me through a little bit where you got started, how you found yourself in this world of buying ads, and how you kind of got to where you are today.
Yeah, it's a pretty random journey. If I look back, I'm like, wow, how the heck did I get here? But I started out as a personal trainer. That's how I got started. Started a personal training business that turned into owning a boot camp business, turned into owning a CrossFit gym. And at one point in time, my CrossFit gym really wasn't doing that well, right? I was really good at getting people in shape, but I was really bad at getting them in the door, right? And that's not a good formula for having success in business. So it wasn't until I finally figured out how to use Facebook ads to get people in the door that I started to have success in my gym, right? And then I got to about 5-6 years ago where I really wanted to go online because, I knew that the people that I knew they were having success, it was like they had an online business. So I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, all right, if I want to have more success, I got to have an online business, right? And I want to help more people out. So I basically joined a mastermind with one of my mentors. His name is Bedros Koulian and Craig Ballantyne, their mastermind. And basically, they taught you how to get started on ClickBank, have a ClickBank product and promote it, right? And so I created this program called Dominate Your Double Unders. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, probably not, but
I don't know what a double under is.
Oh, you don't know what
it sounds hard to me.
Sorry, I'm speaking CrossFit talk. Yes. Yeah, so in the CrossFit world, a double under is a jump rope movement. And basically, it's 2 swings per jump with a jump rope.
Yep.
And so I put this product together because I saw in my gym that a lot of people were struggling with it. And the reason why they were struggling is they weren't practicing it. So I said, okay, like if I can put together a program that helps them practice it, they're going to get the double unders and I'm going to make money, right? And so that's what I did. So I put this program together, and I remember going to their mastermind. It was in Miami. I'll never forget it. It was in November. Went to the mastermind, had this product done, and I'm just so excited because back then, it was, getting affiliates to promote via email, right? And so I went to all these different people in the mastermind. I said, hey, can you promote my product? Everybody said no. And they said no because they all had email lists, but the email lists were all weight loss focused, right? And my product was not a weight loss program, right? So I got pretty discouraged. I'm like, man, what am I going to do here? I paid all this money to be in this mastermind, and I'm not having success right away. So I got home into the hotel after the event in Miami. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just try running some ads because it worked for my gym. Maybe it'll work for this product. So I remember setting up my ads. I had no idea what I was doing on Facebook. Set up the ads to start the next day. I woke up in the morning and I had 3 sales. And I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I called my parents and said, hey, did you guys buy this? Did you buy my program? And they're like, what program? I'm like, oh, wow. And so it was like 1,000 light bulbs going off in my head because I'm like, wow, someone in the world who I don't know, literally saw my ad, clicked on it, bought, and I made money, right? Yeah. And so that just changed my life. Literally, that changed my life forever because then what happened was I started promoting other people's products as an affiliate because there was all these other ClickBank products by people who are much, much better at creating products than I am. And I'm like, wow, if I can just get eyeballs to their page, I'm going to make money. And so that turned into making hundreds per day and then thousands per day and then tens of thousands of dollars per day. And then it got to the point where back in January 2019, ClickBank had a contest, right? And I remember it was I think the first week in January, and I remember someone messaged me and they said, hey, Robby, congratulations, you're in 3rd place right now. I'm like, sweet, for what? And they're like, oh, for this ClickBank contest. And I'm like, oh, cool. So at the time I was starting to put together a product, like a course on affiliate marketing and doing what I'm doing with Facebook ads, but I didn't release it because, in my mind, I kind of have that, imposter syndrome sometimes of like, am I good enough? Can I teach people this? And so I made a deal with myself. I said, all right, if I win this contest and I become the official #1 on ClickBank, that's the only way I'm going to release this course, right? And so I ended up winning. I ended up pushed hard, won the contest. I beat a lot of the big names, on the platform out, and then from there I created my course, Commission Hero. We started that in around April 1st, 2019, and now to date we have over 8,000 people in the course, and it's been unbelievable seeing the results, seeing people have success, like Nick, you were saying, and a lot of people are just making like life-changing income now, and just having, which is awesome. Like that's literally why I created it, because it kind of brings me back to being a gym owner. I created my gym because fitness changed my life as well, so I wanted to help other people experience that. That's the same thing I did with Commission Hero.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember that contest and remember having that moment. With like, who's this Robby guy? Like,
that's what everybody said.
Yeah, it's like, man, I didn't know CrossFit gym owners had so much access to traffic. Like, what is he doing? So, yeah, that's super exciting. What an amazing journey, and great to see that you get to continue on that helping, but really on a broader level, because think how long it probably would have took you before in personal training to change 8,000 lives.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's no way. And now you're doing it in a matter of what, a year has it been?
Yeah, but about 18 months, just under 18 months, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I think that the reason why Commission Hero has been so successful, honestly, is because my #1 goal is to help people get results. Like, I don't care about the money, I don't care about the whatever, the notoriety. That doesn't matter to me. The main thing is like, let's get people results, and everything else will take care of itself. I'm a big believer. If you want to get something in life, help as many people as you can get what they get, what they want in life, and that's just gonna come back to you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now the big question I had after you're telling your story is, were your parents didn't buy your first product? Have they bought any products you promoted? Have they bought any of your ads? Are they really that committed to what you're doing, Robby?
No, they are not. They don't even know what I am doing. Like funny story. Like my dad, me and my dad are very close, and he's a high school principal, and he's worked for 45 years in the same school, right? So very regimented routine. And I'll never forget, I used to do landscaping. I had a little landscaping business, and he got so mad at me when I told him I wanted to be a personal trainer. He's like, nobody's going to pay for personal training, and now, like, he looks back, he's like, oh, that was a pretty good decision you made to switch out of landscaping. So,
yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so for sure. So, well, kind of going back to this whole channeling thing, I think a great question I always like to hear is, if you could pick up the phone and talk to a 20-year-old version of yourself, what would you tell yourself to make the next 10 years of your life really successful?
I would just say keep your head down and keep working. I think, like, for me, the one thing that really kind of, I'm very goal oriented, right? And I don't have specific goals of like, I want to make, X amount of dollars, whatever. Like, I have, big goals. And I think that a lot of people don't. Like, they just kind of go day to day, and they just hope and wish, they're going to be successful. And it's like, for me, in my mind, like, I've always been like, hey, this is my goal. I want to be here. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I just know that if I do something every single day that's going to propel me and move me forward, that eventually I will get there. It's not up to me to figure out how I'll get there, because, I think the universe kind of figures that out for you. And so, never in a million years, I think I'd go from being a CrossFit gym owner to then owning a Facebook agency, then to being an affiliate marketer, then having, that's such a random thing, right? But because I had it in my mind over the past couple of years and getting on this journey, like, I want to be successful. This is where I want to be. Like, I think everything kind of goes into place the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, it always makes me think of the Alchemist, right? Those that lean into their journey and kind of the legend that is them. The universe does kind of map those things out for you. So for all those young entrepreneurs listening, or anybody struggling, just lean into it. Just take those chances, make those goals happen.
And I would say, like, just stay out of your comfort zone and always, like, look at people that are playing life or living life at a higher level than you are. I think that's one thing for me that, I never, I'll tell you a story here. So when I was a personal trainer, one of the things that, I grew up with a, kind of a humble upbringing. Both my parents were teachers, and, we didn't do anything crazy. And, like, our big vacation was like driving to Maine for a week, staying at my aunt and uncle's. And I remember that when I became personal trainer, like I remember being exposed to like this whole different level of people and business, guys and ladies. And one guy, he had like a 10,000 square foot house, and he had like 4-car garage, and he had all this stuff. And I'm like, man, what are you doing to get that? I've never seen this before, And so it totally like threw me out of my little bubble. And I'm like, never once did I feel like jealous or like, oh, this guy, I'm like, no, what did you do? Show me, like, teach me, And so that was a big kind of mindset thing for me, because I was able to like be around people that were super successful and had big businesses and did well, and it totally changed my mindset in terms of like how to live life, like how they view money, how they view success, and that really even though I'm doing something very different than they're doing, like those principles really stuck with me all these years, and I think that was a big game changer for me too.
No, that's fantastic. And so you're right, though. I think you always see that transformation of mindset, right? When you're stuck in a mindset of myopic, narrow scope of only what you've been exposed to, that's pretty much definition of what you're going to live your life as, right? It's going to be that way always. But boy, when you step out and get a little uncomfortable, it opens up your mind to a whole world of possibilities, which means you have a lot more opportunities to take. So that's fantastic. So going on, obviously those are big positive things. I want to bring it back to the gutter. Let's go to the negative side. So what was one of the biggest headaches that you wish you would have known about? If you could have had, the ibuprofen to cure that headache when you were first getting started, and let's focus really on the online marketing side of things. What was one of the big headaches you wish you would have known when you were starting?
I think it would have been like time would be the big kind of headache, because I think everybody, myself especially, like I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, and like in my head it's like smooth sailing, straight line to success, it's all good. And then you quickly find out it is not like that, right? So, like my first year when I started online, it was a grind. I mean, it was like, you have setbacks, you'd have, ad accounts get shut down on Facebook, or you'd have like links, because I didn't know what I was doing, And so all those things would really, kind of be setbacks that could, in most cases, like cause frustration and make you want to quit. But for me, once again, I had it in my mind, like, hey, no, this is my goal. Like, I don't care what happens, how I get there, how many setbacks I have. Like, I'm just gonna, if I fall down 8 times, I'm gonna get up 9. That's just my thing. And I think the other thing too with most people when it comes to success, like, I love the saying, it's like most people overestimate where they'll be in 1 year, and they underestimate where they'll be in 5 years. And I think that's so true when it comes to business and anything you do, because it's like, we all have in our mind, like, this is my timeline for success. And a lot of times it's out of your control. As long as you put in the work every single day, you will have that success. But that was like the big one for me. Otherwise, like, I'm pretty stubborn. So, once I have a goal in mind and I see other people doing it, I always kind of have that little like underdog mentality, chip on my shoulder thing, where it's like, man, if they're doing it, like, I can do it, and then I just figure it out, so that's kind of been my thing. But yeah, definitely the time aspect was one thing, because I thought that I would be, farther along. We always want to be farther along than we are, right? But I think that was probably the one thing that was really the big, otherwise, like, there was, other setbacks, but nothing too crazy. Yeah.
It sounds like you suffer from what I like to call an optimist timeline. I know the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, we could do that. In fact, we should do more. Let's bump that up. And it always ends up kind of being clinking along. I've always thought about the idea that success isn't defined by lack of failure, just the accomplishment of a goal. So time is really squishy in that. So I think that's great advice for a lot of people. That one, if you're an optimist timeline, you probably want to extend that, or get somebody. I don't know if you have anyone in your business that's like the dream crusher that comes in any goal you have and like, what about this, this, and this, and this, and this? I think you're being crazy right now. As long as you're aware of that, it's good to surround those
absolutely.
people.
And Kyle, I'd say another thing too. I would say is one thing for me was really kind of learning like how to go through the processes, learning how to take your licks. And I think the other big roadblock for me was learning how to say no to a lot of things, right? Because when you first start out as in the online business, there's so many different ways you can go to have success, and they're all good, but you have to stick to one and dial in on it until you have success with it. I think that, so many people, I tell my students this in Commission Hero, where, they're like, oh, in order to have more success, I have to promote like 5 offers at a time. And I'm like, no, you don't. You just have to pick one and stick with it until you master it and go through it. Same thing with me, I could have done YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat. Like, my success has been Facebook, right? Even with all its, kind of quirks and everything, like, you have to go narrow deep on it. And I think most people, entrepreneurs or people who want to start their online business, they kind of get caught up in the weeds and like they say yes to too many different things. It's like, no, just focus on one thing, get laser dialed on it, and just do it until you're successful.
Yeah. In a global market, just doing one channel really, really well will serve you so much better. Even if it's like for your own offer initially, just like you had.
Yep.
What is that going to do to, from an affiliate perspective? Because there's a good chance all these other offer owners don't have that level of mastery that you have. So that gives me a lot of hope for my TikTok career. I think if I really just hone in. So that actually transitions really nicely, though, as we talk about narrative focus. I really want to focus. You had the course, but let's talk a little about what you're doing in terms of just that singular focus with, I guess I'm trying to think that tier 2. I was trying to come up with like a cool, clever name for kind of this brokerage service, but instead of me trying to explain it, why don't you tell me a little about what you do with those singular offers that you might push out or recommend to your tribe of 8,000 commission heroes?
It's pretty simple. So essentially, what I do is inside of Commission Hero is we recommend products that are on the ClickBank platform that we recommend our students promote. And these are products that I personally have promoted and had success with, or they're top offers on ClickBank, and I know they convert really well. Because what I teach in Commission Hero is don't go and try to find all these different offers. Just find the highest converting one that's going to pay you the most money and do that. And so, I've kind of worked out these deals with these product owners, these vendors, where essentially I make myself a tier 2 affiliate. So we basically set up a JV contract, and then all my students are promoting this this particular product, and obviously I make a little commission on the side as well. And that's kind of how I've done it. It's worked out really well because I find that not only do the product owners like pay more attention, and like they actually are incentivized to like want to, I'm like, hey, I'm going to send 8,000 affiliates your way, and so they're actually going to put some time and effort into it, and so that's been kind of the way that I've structured it. It works out really well, and also too, like I think it's good because my students, they really, obviously they trust me, they believe in me. They know when I recommend something to them, it's something that I personally have promoted myself, and so there's that trust there as well. So that's kind of how I've been able to do it. And the thing is and most of the time I don't even have to worry about like finding new offers and stuff, because most of the time most of the product owners will come to me, and sometimes I say no, because if it's not a good fit, then I'm just not going to recommend that to my students. But most of the time it's the top offers. And the cool thing is being the position that I am in now, like being a top affiliate on ClickBank, is that I kind of get the inside scoop. And a lot of these product owners, like they have other offers that are like up and coming, and so they're like, hey, this offer's coming, it's not on the marketplace yet, or it's really low in the marketplace, like, but I think it's going to be a home run. And I look at it, I'm like, yep, that's going to be a home run. So then I let my guys know in the course, and then we were able to have that advantage of getting in there first.
Well, so we're going to break this down and go in a little more in depth. So first, I love that. I just love that it's so simple, right? Like it's one of those. I think sometimes the best monetization efforts are the ones that are the most just glaringly simple. You're like, oh man, like duh, it's just right in front of me. So walk me through when you were developing the program. Was this something that happened afterwards? You thought, hey, this is a really good opportunity, or was it the intent the entire time to kind of create this second tier process? It
happened afterwards, So I kind of, as an entrepreneur, you kind of build the airplane as you're taking off, and so that's kind of what I've done.
Just the way I want my airplanes.
Exactly. Super safe, and it's good.
I'm pretty sure that's like Allegiant. They're doing that all the time.
Our Spirit, So that's exactly what I do, and so it was just kind of one of those things where we had some offers, and originally when I first started the course, I had 5 or 6 offers in there that I had success with, and I'm like, just run these, and then I didn't even know about the tier 2, and then I found out about it. I said, okay, let's just do this. And that's actually worked out really well, and it's good because like literally, we drive a lot of traffic for affiliates. Like I was just talking to Dominic here a couple days ago, and he was saying, I sent him a list of like 1,600 students in the course that I have their ClickBank IDs. I'm like, hey, how much money has they generated in total this year? And it was something like $22 million. They generated revenue, just that little fraction of students, of 1,600 students, and we have 8,000. And like the average person was it was like $26,000 they made on ClickBank with using Commission Hero. So so it's people realize that because I find that a lot of product owners are really good at creating their products, but they're not really good at getting traffic to their products, right? And so, by having and filling that need with, getting traffic to their offer, like doing that with Commission Hero, my students, it's like such a seamless, kind of integration.
Yeah. So with the process, since it's not, hey, here's a product, go promote it. You said you promote it yourself. So how much testing, or what does your testing process look like when you find one of those offers, or someone comes to you and we could I know you did a lot of work with research, which is a killer offer.
Yeah, it still is. Yep.
So when Brad comes to you and is like, hey, I got this freaking badass offer, how do you go about testing it? Like, well, what's kind of your qualification process there?
Yeah, most offers, like if I pretty much test them nowadays over a 2 or 3 week period. If I can make $1,000 a day personally, like if I can hit that $1,000 level, that's good. It works. And that's kind of what I've done. And when I first started, I would I would do a month or 2 months of testing. And now, what we do in the course, we actually release monthly offers as part of our inner circle coaching program. So every month we offer a new offer, landing page, all the creatives, everything you need, a done for you campaign for people. And so I have to, test a little bit quicker. And so we test about 2 to 3 weeks at the most. And as long as I can get that thing to convert and work, we're rocking and rolling with it, yeah.
And you basically cascade down all the creatives for that inner circle audience that you have, which, man, that has to just be so freaking nice for those affiliates. Just have here's winning creative, now just pour money into my money machine.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fantastic. So kind of going into, so that's what you're doing for them, and obviously it's been immensely successful. And I know lots of them sometimes even start building relationships with the vendors as well, because they're so successful at it. So I imagine you mentioned you had a lot of people just coming to you inside Hook. So how do you go about deciding what a good offer is beyond just testing? So what's your eyeball check? And also, when you're done with that, talk a little bit about what type of vendors you want to work with or offer owners you want to work with.
Yeah, so I think the one thing I look at is, there's in ClickBank, I find there's always the common names that do their products, right? They release more and more products. So if it's somebody that's had, home run in the offers in the past, I'm probably going to give it a pretty good shot because they know what they're doing. It's literally a formula that they follow to get their products going. So I do that. The second thing I do is I want to make sure it's in a category that is a big category, right? Because, and I usually focus on health, wealth, and relationships, because those are huge categories. Those are also, I find, in a way, recession proof, because even if the economy's down, people still want to lose weight. And I also think the other reason I do that too is because we have so many students, I want to be able to, offer them an offer that literally there's room for everybody, right? And so, because one of the, things people say is, well, Robby, there's 8,000 students, isn't there going to be saturation? And the answer is no. And the reason why is because literally there's hundreds of millions of people in these categories. And so there's so much room for everybody. And, we're not even close to saturation at all. But those are the two requisites. And then basically what I do personally, I'll actually go through the VSL, I'll watch it. And because most of these top offers kind of model each other anyways, it does work. And then finally, the last kind of prerequisite is I look at the average order value, right? I think the average order value is important. And nowadays, it's unbelievable. When I first started, and when I won the ClickBank contest in January 2019, which was not that long ago, I would be pumped if I had a $40 average order value as an affiliate, right? If I made $40 on a sale, I was pumped. Nowadays, because supplements are involved, you're seeing $100, $150, that's incredible, right? I made a ton of money with a $40 level. It's wow, now it's you're getting paid almost triple. So that's amazing. So I think nowadays, I think there's so much opportunity. That's why I keep telling people, I really think 2021 is going to be a monster year for online. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It's interesting. Thomas and I just did a webinar yesterday where we shared some data, reanalyzed the top 100 health and fitness offers, and you're totally right. We saw the average affiliate payout for our top 20% of that 100 was $113 to affiliates, which I'm just whoa, Obviously, I imagine that makes your spend a lot more forgiving when you have that much room on a CPA.
Oh my God,
to still be profitable. So
and you can be more aggressive, and I think honestly, it's great for people just starting out, because when I first started doing this, if it costs you $20, $25 to acquire a customer, then you're kind of creeping up into the place where you're I don't know if I should cut my ads. Whereas, if you're a new person and you're running ads and just getting started, and maybe you let an ad run too long, and maybe you're paying $70 to acquire a customer, well, you're still making $40 on the sale, even though you did everything wrong. So I think there's that nice little cushion, which I think is, it's just such a good time to have an online business for sure.
Yeah. As long as we don't have the election eating up all the CPMs forums anymore.
Yes, and it's gotten so much better though. I tell you, the
Yeah.
first, a couple weeks when the election was going on, it's still a little weird, but man, it was like, I told my students like, hey, just pause your ads for now, like just write it out, go for a walk, enjoy yourself, and come back, because and that's the other reason why I think 2021 is going to be a big year for people, because more people are online than ever before. Like the payouts are so much higher on ClickBank now, and it's a non-election year, so I think that things kind of settle down. Man, I think it's going to be a perfect storm for success. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've seen a shift in consumer behavior that I don't think will be reversed. When 80-year-olds are using Uber Eats and starting to look at Facebook even more for live stream content, it's a different world we're living in. For sure. Because of COVID and what it's done for content. So one thing I wanted to ask as well is you'd mentioned broad categories. So are there any broad categories that you don't see represented with offers as much, or just some areas where you're like, man, I wish someone would just get like a really killer dating offer or a really killer, I don't know, just something in there that you feel could be an opportunity that isn't being taken advantage of?
The one thing that I do notice is like, aside from like the weight loss categories, the relationship categories, like the problem is a lot of these offers, like the do-it-yourself niche, for example. I mean, you have like Easy Battery, and you had, I think it was a power efficiency guide or Easy Power Plan now. Like, those offers are great and they do well, but they've been around forever, right? I really don't see like a lot of like updated stuff, which you see in the weight loss space, because like in the weight loss space, I mean, every year there's probably 5 or 6 like new offers that are home runs, which I think as an affiliate is important, because even something simple as having a campaign that's doing okay, like just switching the offer in the back, like that can like supercharge your results, because nobody's seen that offer before. And I think that's the one, and I think the do-it-yourself niche is such a huge niche, and the thing I like about it too, it's a lot more friendly on Facebook as well. And you're able to run a lot longer. Don't get me wrong, weight loss still crushes, but when it comes to that, so I wish people would just kind of, if anyone's listening to this, create some offers that are in the do-it-yourself space that you can, just do that. And I think that the survival niche, things like that, are, I wish there'd be more of that. Yeah.
Well, I'd strap in. I think you're going to see some great survival offers in 2021. Like I feel pretty positive. Yeah. Conservatives are probably going to be maybe a little scared for the next 40 years. That there's a good possibility that those will rise again. So no, that's great to hear, and I think that's one of the things. Where oftentimes, because we see that health and fitness offers working, weight loss offers are working, people think that's all that works. So I'm really glad that you could highlight there's huge opportunities, and obviously wealth and financial. I think there's going to be some really great opportunities in 2021. You mentioned survival. I don't know if that made it on the cut, but survival and do-it-yourself, like massive opportunities. So if people are wondering,
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin. Oh gosh, for sure. Yep. So, but there's lots of opportunities and maybe some still broadly appealing verticals that aren't being touched as much as they could be. So go and develop and spend your plans over this winter coming up with some cool do-it-yourself products.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what I really want to talk about is you mentioned 2021. You feel like it's going to be a fantastic year for online marketers. I don't disagree at all. But that being said, there are going to be some headwinds. And so as we talked about that positive timeline, what are some of the headwinds that you're expecting to face as the clock turns over and we add a 1 and finally kick 2020 to the curb and go into 2021? Yeah,
I think it'll be interesting. I think, I think the election will play a role in that. I think in first quarter for sure. I think also that's going to be a big thing. I think also it'll be interesting to see what the, from a Facebook standpoint, because I'm a Facebook guy, I always look at the quarterly earnings of Facebook and see if they had a great quarter. If they did, then I'm not too happy as an advertiser, because that means they kind of clamp down on stuff. If they had a not so great quarter, then I love that, because then they open stuff up for advertising more. I think that's one thing. The other thing I would say when it comes to like headwinds is I think that just kind of like updates, because everything kind of changes. I think nowadays, like it's not what it used to be, and everything changes so fast, right? Like like Facebook makes an update, or you have to do something different on your landing page, or the terms and conditions are different now, or compliance with the offers. Like you have to, there's all those little headwinds I think there can cause issues. But really, honestly and truly, I don't think there's going to be too much. If they go into shutdowns again, which it seems like some states are, we'll see how it goes this time. I think that if there's a stimulus check that comes out again, which seems like there might be, and people are home again, I mean, I think it's probably going to be a good thing to have an online business because, once again, more people are online. I mean, Harvard University, like they're charging full tuition and they're 100% online. So it's like, yeah, it's insane.
That is crazy.
And it's like, and so it's just, and I think nowadays people are just really conditioned to that. I mean, we're at the ClickBank headquarters and there's nobody here, and it's because everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
So I think that's really changed the game quite a bit. And I know that from 2020 actually was an amazing year for online. So I think 2021 is just going to carry that into it because the trends are heading that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. As we continue to be just connected more, right? And seeking ways to connect with others.
Yep.
I think that's one of the big things that's changed online because, with social networking, but not just that. Like, I know I mentioned it in jest earlier, but look at TikTok and the rise that it's had outside of some of the legal and government issues, political issues. But I mean, that platform, the age demographics, I'd love to see how it shifted from the beginning of this year to the end of it, because there's such a need for people to want to change those behaviors and how they're consuming stuff. So you're totally right. One headwind I'd like to hear more advice on, I think, is buyer uncertainty because of economic uncertainty. So I think that's one where it's always hard to gauge because it's a soft, squishy thing. But are there any tactics or things that you look into when you're media buying, understanding we might go into an economic climate where people are really insecure about their economic future, or they just don't have a job and there are no jobs to be had, considering some of the longing effects of COVID and stuff?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think, and then once again, that's why I really focus on those three big categories, like the weight loss niche, the relationship niche, the money niche, because I mean, with weight loss, once again, like even if you have, if you don't have a job or whatever, or maybe you cancel your gym membership, but the chances of you buying a supplement so you can help lose weight is probably high, because, and same thing with like relationships, like you're still going to want, find that significant other or whatever, and then with money, obviously, if you don't have a job, like you're going to want to find like a business opportunity that allows you to work from home and make more money, and that's why we've had a lot of people join, Commission Hero this year. We had a lot of people that actually got laid off or put on, furlough for their job, and they ended up like actually making more money with Commission Hero, and they stopped working at their job. But I think that's the thing, and that's why I think you need to stick to those niches, I think, initially, until you kind of see what's going on. Some of the other niches like are they'll probably do well, but they're not like I would say as kind of recession proof as they need to be, because it's almost like a hobby thing. Like I could do this, but I don't necessarily need that, right? Whereas I think weight loss, people like, it's so kind of ingrained in such an emotional purchase and an irrational purchase sometimes. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And I think just for people to always remember that there are those verticals that just no matter what, we always keep buying and we'll find a way. It's good to remember not to make buying decisions for your customers, right?
Yes.
Be the reason that they do buy.
That's such a great point, and I think this is something I tell my students, because I have so many students that are, either in, they're 40-year-old guys or whatever, and they're like, oh, I would never buy this product. And it's like, well, yeah, it's not for you. Like, you never advertise based on how you personally would buy. You advertise based on your avatar that you're trying to advertise to. Like, and so yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. We have a good saying at ClickBank, especially in the biz dev realm. If you like the product, it won't do well on our platform.
Yes.
It's like we unfortunately don't employ as many 45-plus-year-old conservative females.
Yes.
Like, so that's awesome. So I'm kind of shifting gears here a little bit, wrapping things up. The last kind of business oriented question before we go into our Fast Five that we wanted to talk to you about is any up and coming, I know obviously your Facebook program, but are there any up and coming traffic sources out there that you're seeing? Do you think maybe yourself they're tempted, or do you think others should maybe look into to differentiate themselves? I think sometimes if you're the first person in on a new traffic source, wasn't sure if you've seen anything.
I mean, Snapchat was promising. It's kind of disappointed me this past year, so I really haven't focused too much on that. YouTube is big. I mean, YouTube is like, and it amazes me how many people are not doing YouTube right now. Actually, what we're doing when we're updating Commission here, we have a whole section on YouTube coming up, which is going to be pretty cool. Because I think that's such an untapped spot. It's so massive, and I think the pretty cool thing about YouTube, it's not a new traffic source, but the thing is, like, people go there. It's very search based, right? And people are so conditioned to like sit down and watch a video. And then, when you take that person who's sitting down and watching a video on YouTube and then you send them to a 38-minute VSL, the chance of them actually watching the whole thing is going to be a lot greater because they're already conditioned to it. They're on a platform where they're used to watching long content. So we're going to be doing that for sure. But, for me, I'm always doubling down on Facebook. Like, I've yet to find a platform, even with all its, quirks and drives me crazy sometimes, even with all that, like, there's nothing out there that can absolutely scale fast, test with a low budget, and just absolutely just crush it, So
yeah.
But YouTube is definitely promising. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube. It seems the creatives are a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
I think from your upfront versus Facebook, like the upfront investment to figure it out, and top of the funnel is pretty expensive on YouTube ads. But yeah, I agree. Second largest search engine behind Google is YouTube. So the touch points of buying behavior, it makes a ton of sense.
For sure.
For sure. But I just always like to tell people, hey, if you're going to Facebook to YouTube, just be aware your creatives are going to be way more challenging to come up with.
100%.
But boy, when it works, man,
that's awesome.
So, all right, well, fast five. So some of these questions are not going to be all business specific.
All right.
And they're going to center around you. So first question, what are your strengths as an entrepreneur and how have you refined and improved those skills?
I think my strengths are I'm very stubborn. I think like literally if I just have a chip on my shoulder and I just get it done, right? I double down on it, like we were talking about before the podcast, being from New England, like I have that, kind of that hard work mentality. Like if it's winter, like I'm still out there. I grew up in a log cabin, right? So, we heated our house with wood. And so I had to go out in the winter and just carry those, logs all the time. So I'm used to that hard work and that ethic and I really want to be in that position where I just keep getting after it. So that's definitely one of my strengths. My other strength is I've kind of learned to ask for help, which has also been a big one for me. It used to be a weakness where I did not, but now like I've just learned over the time, like if I'm not where I want to be, like I either hire a mentor, a consultant, a coach to just get me there, because even though it costs me money to do that, like in the long run I save so much money and it buys me speed. And so that's really two things I've been. And the other thing I've done is I think my other strength is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that's another one that has really helped me out because it kind of goes back to my CrossFit days where, the expression was like, embrace the suck. I used to tell my members that, embrace the suck. Like it's not going to be good. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to like want to quit in the middle, but at the end of it, you're going to feel great, So learning how to be uncomfortable and being comfortable with that is huge because as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of uncomfortable stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff that like will come your way and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that existed or I didn't even know that was a problem. And trying to figure it out. That's been good. And then the last thing I'll say is I've been very, one of my strengths is I look forward to problems, right? I think that as an entrepreneur, you're always going to have problems. And the goal is to go from having problems of like, how do I pay my bills? How do I do this? To then like, hey, how do I write off more so I can save money on my taxes? Or how can I like diversify more? Like, so that's the one thing. Because I think when people have, when they first start out, when it comes to success, they think they're trying to avoid problems. And it's like, no, you're always going to have problems. Like, the only people who don't have problems are dead people. And so you're not dead, you're going to have problems, but the goal is to go from bad problems to first world problems.
yeah, all about those first world problems.
Exactly.
I love that I'm finding, Robby, that we have some similar quotes. I tell my kids all the time to embrace the suck.
Yeah,
like whenever they can plan, it's like, you got to embrace the suck, man. Like once you get through that, it makes the reward that much sweeter. So, which isn't met with kindness from them most of the time.
Yes.
They don't enjoy that. I think it's going to be a dad quote.
They will, though.
One day. It's a long game. And then, how are you more Idahoan than anyone else in this room? That seems confusing.
I'm not sure what
with
you
your
mean.
log cabin and growing up that way. Like, we just grew up in the suburbs. Well, I don't know about Thomas in the northern Idaho. So so you actually transitioned really nicely. The next question, which is, who are some mentors that have impacted your life, and what specifically do they do to impact it?
Yeah, so I would say I got 3 mentors in my life. One would be my dad. I love my dad. He's been a big influence on me. He's a hard worker. The guy, 45 years, the same school, started as a student teacher and worked his way up to principal, and just that work ethic of just like every single day, just putting in the work. And So he's been a big influence for me. My second mentor was one of my personal training clients at the time, and his name was Peter. And Peter owned 180 McDonald's franchises, right? And so the cool thing about Peter was he literally came from Italy when he was maybe 9 or 10, didn't speak English, dropped out of college, worked at McDonald's flipping burgers, and then he worked his way up to having just a ton of franchises and being one of the top franchisees in the entire country, which is insane. So I learned so much from him. I personally trained him, but I think over like 10 years, man, I think he taught me way more than I taught him, because it was so cool to learn from him. And then finally, my last mentor was Bedros Keuilian, still is. Bedros is big in the fitness space, and being a trainer. Like I remember, I was in college. I was a junior in college, and I wanted to do personal training, and they taught you like the exercise science stuff, but they didn't teach you the business stuff. I remember my professor coming and saying, "Hey, I got this book I just bought. Like, I don't know if you want it. Like, it might be pretty cool." It was called The Art of Selling Fitness, and it was by the guy Bedros, right? And it was so crazy because, just literally like 4 or 5 years later, I ended up joining his mastermind. I ended up speaking at his events like several different times, and I actually ran a lot of his Facebook ads for a long time. We've become good friends. So it's so crazy how it just kind of comes, like that book changed my life, and then I'm like, wow, here I am, like me and him are good friends. I can call him up, so he's definitely a guy, and once again, he came from Armenia. They escaped Soviet Russia. He's got that, as he says, the immigrant edge, where you kind of have that, that chip on your shoulder, like you just got to make it. You're in the greatest country in the world right now, so you're going to make it happen and make that dream happen. So, yeah, those would be my 3 mentors. Yeah.
And you could see that train, or it's that constant of this work ethic grind, right? Yep. Like love the grind, embrace the suck, and look, it's worked out for you, all of them, and obviously it started with your dad being that example. What great stories, man! There's some freaking awesome mentors. Like I'm sure if McDonald's has probably highlighted that guy as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
That's a story.
Yeah. Yep.
So. So next one, we've all been, at least at some time this year, locked indoors longer than we anticipated. Mm-hmm. So streaming recommendations. What are you watching right now, or what has been the thing that you just have to tell people that they need to watch?
Yeah, so if we're talking Netflix, I recently watched The Queen's Gambit, which I thought was pretty good.
Very good.
I thought that was really good.
I didn't think it was going to be good because I was like, chess, no thanks. But boy, that's a good one.
It was really good. Yeah, and I watched some other ones. I'm trying to think here. I watched this series called Russian Doll, which was pretty cool. That was I think it was only one season right now, but honestly, like I didn't spend too much time streaming. Like I took the opportunity. Like I'm like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity right now to just move my business forward. And like as I tell my team, like you got to make hay when the sun shines, right? So it's people unfortunately in life think in absolutes, right? So when things are really good in business, they think it's going to be really good forever, right? And then when things are really bad, they think it's going to be really bad. And so I just knew, like with Commission Hero and what we're doing and what we're trying to build, like this is a moment in time for us where we can help as many people as possible. And like obviously having an online business has been great this year, and it'll be great next year. And so that's been my focus, right? Like how can I help more people have success online? And so I do a little streaming here and there, just to maybe an episode or 2 a night. But other than that, I'm working, man, working towards my dreams. Yeah.
That's it. So the real streaming recommendation is Commission Hero. So if you aren't streaming videos of Robby, then you're really missing out.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have so many friends and even my girlfriend who's like, she'll be like working out, listen to YouTube music, and then my ad pops up. She's like, "What the heck? Like, like enough already. I've seen your ad. Get out of here." So yeah.
You tell her just to buy it. She just buys the course. It'll go away. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's right.
So next one, a little bit weird, but as we talked about, like COVID and food has been a big thing. So tell me about a food that you love that you wish you hated, that you could get rid of it, but you're like, listen, I'm in a toxic relationship. Like for example, mine is Trader Joe's peanut butter covered chocolate filled pretzel, or chocolate covered peanut butter filled pretzels. Oh my gosh, like I wish they tasted like manure to me, but it's like pure ecstasy when I just.
Oh my gosh, that's well. There was quite a few items. I definitely put on the quarantine 15 for a while there, but yeah, I would say like for me it was probably Oreos because and it wasn't even my fault. So when the whole quarantine thing happened, my dad was going through some health issues, right? So he had a heart attack, and then they found out he had colon cancer from that heart attack. He went through chemo. he's fine now, complete recovery. I mean, such a lucky guy, and I'm glad he's still around. But he stayed with us for like 5 or 6 weeks, and like my dad is, he eats whatever he wants, and he had Oreos everywhere, and of course, like here I am, like I literally can't stop myself, and they're like the mega double stuffed ones that are like 3 times the amount.
Just the massive Oreo.
Yeah,
it's like an Oreo sandwich.
So I mean, every time I went to the kitchen, I was like just taking a full sleeve and just, I mean, it was insane. So, and then it got to the point where, finally I got to the point in, I think it was like maybe June, where I'm like, all right, like enough is enough. Like, so I just cleaned out everything out. I started getting back in shape. I actually lost 18 pounds after just working out and everything. So, and I haven't stopped since, and it's so much better because, man, I felt like crap.
Yeah. I mean, there is that moment when you eat the sleeve Oreos, you feel great.
And you feel great when you're eating it. Yeah. And afterwards,
days afterwards.
Not so good. No, like seconds after.
Have you ever done the peanut butter in Oreo, where you dip an Oreo in peanut butter?
I did Oreos with like not peanut butter. I've done Nutella. I've done Nutella, which was an interesting thing.
Yeah. Sorry for us to go just like full fat kid here and think about an Oreo's not bad enough. What can I dip it in to make it more?
Yeah, exactly. And you do the classic Oreo move where you like just you break off half of one, and then you combine the two together, and now you have like an extra mega triple stuffed.
What do you do with your extra cookie wafers when you do like mega stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you eat it afterwards.
Okay.
Not because you want to, but because you have to.
Okay. And my wife will leave them. Like, if we have Oreos,
really?
she'll leave, like, I'll find these discs that are just, I mean, who wants to eat that? It's like a muffin bottom, right? Like,
it is.
Gross.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, for those that don't know Robby likes to golf. Would we say maybe love? Would we say love?
Yeah, right there.
Love to golf.
Yeah.
So any golfer has some epic golf stories, particularly around an epic golf shot. So tell us your most epic golf shot that you've had.
I have a couple. One of them.
We can only have one, Robby.
Only
no,
one?
Just kidding. No, you go ahead.
I'll give you two. So one of them was it was kind of funny. Last time I was out here in ClickBank headquarters, Taylor, who's behind the scenes here, was filming. Like, we're doing some filming stuff and everything, and I had some good shots, and I forget what hole it was. It was like a par 3 or something like that. I just was off the green. I chipped the ball, and he's filming all these other things. Like, I chipped the ball, it goes in, and I'm like, Taylor, did you get that? He's like, nope. I'm like, dude, you got all my bad shots, but the one time I chip in for birdie, like, you just missed it. So that was one, and then I would say the other time was, I've never had a hole in one, but I've had one time. It was on I think it was on like the 15th hole of this local course I play, and par 4. I was probably like 160 yards out, and just one hop in the hole, and that was pretty cool. And but yeah, I mean that's it's hard. I mean, golf, like, I'm like a 10 handicap, so the better you get, like the less satisfied you are every round you play, but I love golf. I mean, that's like my that's my happy place, and the nice thing is, like, I have a place in Florida now, and playing down there, I can play 18 holes in 2 hours and then just go to work. So I do that every day, and it's good because I can think about stuff, and I can listen and take calls and stuff. And it's just a really good time where it's like my thinking time, where I can think about business, think about big goals and dreams, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's something about being on that grass and that sound. I mean, the sound of a good shot is
awesome.
Just. I don't know if there's much better than that.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
Especially with an iron, which I never do. Like, but boy, it's just, I can't even describe how beautiful that is.
That's awesome.
Well, awesome, Robby. We'll really appreciate your time, and glad I got you thinking about golf, since it's rainy here and not really ideal golf weather.
I know.
It's more like what is it, not the just the open, right? This is open weather that we have going on.
Yeah.
But really appreciate your time, and just for those of you should. Are there some handles where people could follow you, Robby? And obviously, people, if you are interested in Facebook ads, Commission Hero is a fantastic course, as we've talked about in here, to get real results. Yeah. So, if you want to share anything or anything you want to close, or just how people could get a hold of you or find you.
I mean, I spend time on Instagram quite a bit, so just it's just at Robby Blanchard, ROBBY. And then Blanchard, and then if you're interested in learning how to run ads, but most importantly make money, then Commission Hero is definitely the way to do it. So and
any golfers out there, challenge him, just throw down.
Hey, anyone want to play golf, please, I'll never say no. So,
yes, that's good. Great. All right, well, that's it for today, and everyone, thank you for listening. Be sure to rate, subscribe, and review the podcast, and look for more amazing interviews from individuals like Robby. Thanks so much. Have a good day.